everybody, I'm Chuck Gibson. Welcome to another edition of Loveland Beacon Talks. Today, I am very excited to have with me Carol Rountree, the new executive director of the Life Food Pantry. Carol, welcome to
Thank
Loveland
you.
Beacon Talks.
I'm excited to be here.
You know what? This is like, for the listeners, getting to know our new executive director at the food pantry. So this is going to be easy peasy, man. We're just going to have a conversation.
Right.
And, so the first thing, I'm not going to grill you with questions. I'll start with one. Who are you and where did you come from? That's two questions. I'm sorry.
That is two questions. Hi. Yes, I'm Carol Rountree. I've been a long-time Loveland resident. I've lived here since '06. Wow. I'm originally from Syracuse, New York, and came here after college to follow one of my sisters, and because I fell in love with Cincinnati. And
so now that's Loveland in 2006.
Yes.
So, I mean here, but so is that when you came?
No, actually, no. I gave the wrong date.
I'm a troublemaker, Carol.
No, I've been here since '96.
Oh, 96, okay.
96, yep. And I have two adult daughters that both live and work downtown. And my husband and I, like I said, been in Loveland since '96. Wow. Yes.
Well, you beat me by 2 years. I did not move to Loveland until '98, just for the record. But so not that it's important, but so that's pretty good. So I got to think about that. So that's what, 30 years?
30 years.
Wow. Well, congratulations on 30 years in Loveland. And it took you that long to come to the Life Food Pantry?
Yeah. I've been a longtime supporter. We've gone to Loveland United Methodist Church for decades and supported the pantry with food drives done at the church. And my kids have done things through school at the pantry when they were at Loveland schools. And I come from a food pantry. I've spent most of the last 20 years in some kind of nonprofit role and worked at Interparish Ministry Food Pantry in Newtown for 6 years.
Yeah.
So I fell in love with that job. That was probably one of my favorite jobs I've ever had. And
I should have met you because before I came to Loveland, I was Anderson Township, which is Anderson and Newtown. Mm-hmm. We're neighbors. So I can't believe we didn't meet back then. Even that's pretty amazing.
So when I saw this position available, I thought I needed to be here. I love the food pantry, and my expertise is kind of in volunteer management and volunteer engagement, and since this is mostly run by volunteers, that works really well to have that background.
You're answering all the questions. This is why I said we're going to have a conversation.
Okay, great.
But let's back up for a second. So you said you came here originally from Syracuse, New York, after college. Mm-hmm. So now you've got me curious because of what you've done in your life. So what were you studying? Now, where did you go to college first?
I went to one of the state schools, SUNY Brockport.
Okay.
I studied elementary education and sociology. And which has served me well in my nonprofit world, especially sociology.
I was going to say the sociology actually fits right in.
So past jobs where I've worked at the Blue Ash YMCA, I've worked at Cincinnati Cares, I've worked at YouGive.org, and obviously InerParish Ministry.
Yeah, in Newtown. Mm-hmm. So how long did you say you were there? 20?
6 years.
Oh, 6 years, okay.
The pantry. Mm-hmm.
So you've been doing pantry stuff for 20 years.
I've been doing nonprofit stuff and volunteer management stuff for 20 years. And the pantry.
Okay. I'll get it right eventually. You said it, the listeners will hear it. Anyway, so you already said that as soon as this opportunity presented itself, you jumped at the opportunity to throw your hat in the ring. Mm-hmm. And that's how I was going to ask you, how did you come to the Life Food Pantry? But so what's a little more story behind that?
I had been, through some of the work I had done through Cincinnati Cares, I was previously working at a role that was fully remote and didn't really like that and had been looking for something to get me back into a true nonprofit. And like I said, I always kind of had a warm spot in my heart for the pantry and felt that was a job that I could best utilize my skills and background in, because like I said, it's almost all volunteer run, and I get that world.
Well, so what was, a little background, what was the process like connecting with the food pantry? I mean, essentially putting your resume or application, however you want to do it, getting your hat in the ring, getting your name into what was that like for you?
I reached out to someone I knew that was involved here, and they connected me with the
board.
The board, so I got the email when they posted the position, and applied and went through the interview process.
Oh, wow, yeah. So kind of normal.
Kind of normal.
Pretty normal process. Well, so how did you get informed? This is, for me, when people get something, I always want to know, like, did you get the phone call, or, what was
how
that
did I
all
find
like?
out
when
about...
they finally notified you or whatever, how did that go?
That I got the job?
Right. Yeah.
Well, it's actually kind of a funny story. I was playing Mahjong with some people, and I got a text message from one of the board members saying, check your email. And I knew that meant that I got the job, so I was trying to hold it together while finishing up my Mahjong hand.
That's funny. So this is why I like to ask that question, because there's always a neat little backstory to, how the notification happened, and it seemed, today, the world we live in, text messages and emails and things, and it's like sometimes somebody else saw it first.
Well, yes, and it's the first person in my world to find out was actually a really good friend of mine and not my husband, so that was kind of funny.
Well, that's, because you were playing a game.
I was playing Mahjong, yes.
Well, so then, how did that feel for you? Like you said, you were trying to hold it together while you finished your hand.
I was.
So obviously you had a level of excitement.
I was very excited, and one of the people I was playing with actually picked up on it, and I tried to just stay quiet, and I'm like, when the round was over, I said, oh, this is what just happened. So, yeah, it was a pretty funny moment.
That's a very formal announcement. To your friends, right? That's Carol, I love it. That's as good a story as any. Right? We could just stop. How'd you get here? Well, I was playing with John. No. So, what's next for you here? Well, officially, I'm trying to remember, December
15th. I actually started on my birthday.
Oh, wow. Well, happy
which
birthday,
was fun.
December 15th.
Yeah. So I've been here this is week 5. And
not that anybody's counting.
Not that everyone's counting. No, and I have loved it. I love that. I love being in an environment with volunteers, because volunteers are here because they want to be, not because they have to be.
Right.
It's much different than being with coworkers, and I love their energy and what they do and how they go above and beyond. Yeah. So I've loved that. I've loved the learning curve of how things are done here, and sitting in the executive director seat and having to do things like call the phone guy or the recycling truck. So I've been doing all those things and learning it all, and have had a great mentor in Terry Carter, who was the interim director. She's been fantastic at helping me get up to speed.
Well, my first exchange with somebody about your coming, other than, the press release that they put out that had some statements and things in it, but my first exchange was with Terry, and she just loves you.
Aww.
I'm hopefully, sorry Terry, I told her. But it was really, for me, that meant a lot. Because it's like, okay, somebody that they feel like is really a good fit, and so I can tell you, Terry thinks you're a great fit, and it's happy. Actually, there is one other person as well that, because I said I'm reaching out to Carol, and she said, "Oh, you're gonna love her." So you've made a pretty.
Who was that? Impression. I have to know. You can't just say it.
Joanne Prater.
Oh.
Yeah. If you don't know, I don't know if hopefully Joanne doesn't mind me saying this. Sorry, Joanne. Sorry, Terry. I'm giving up all your goods. But anyway, at least 2 people in the community that were left with a very positive impression.
Yeah.
So, how about you? I mean, you kind of just gave it away. One of the, if I was going to ask another question, it was going to be like, what's been the most fun for you getting into it? Because it sounds like it's kind of been a fun experience so far. You touched on the fact just loving working with the volunteers, but is there something that has stood out for you about, what's really great about this job for you in those first 5 weeks?
I mean, what's really great about it is how the volunteers that are in what we would call leadership roles, running committees and managing, like we have volunteer leads in the front of the pantry, making sure everything is running smoothly, and how they just take ownership of it and how much they enjoy doing it. And I hear them when someone new comes in, very kindly showing them how volunteering works here in the pantry. So I have loved that, and also learning how this organization has really done an amazing job of taking care of their neighbors. in a way that we can do because we are just zip code based. We only serve the Loveland zip code.
Right.
So known things that are happen here is on Tuesdays, now that we have a van, we have a volunteer that drives and picks up clients that don't have transportation to get here and brings them here to go shopping for food. I don't know anybody else that does that.
You know what? That's a great piece, because I have scratched my head over the years about, knowing that the people that you serve come here and basically get to grocery shop.
Right.
To some. I don't know how else to put it. And I've scratched my head about, what about the people that almost can't get here?
Right.
And how I know they've been served, and I've really just never really said, how is this happening? And so that's a great story, and understanding that somebody's going out and
picking them
people.
up.
Yeah.
And then even before we had the van, there was something called Pantry Pals. So for a lot of senior clients that physically can't come to the pantry and may not have transportation, they get assigned a volunteer pantry pal who does their grocery shopping for them and
now that's
delivers
typically
it.
a volunteer as
That's
well.
a volunteer that chooses to go that extra mile, work with that client and say, what can I pick up for you? Bring it to their homes and help them unload the groceries. Because like I said, a lot of times these are seniors that have mobility issues. So we're serving them in a really amazing way by offering that service.
I promised you when we started this was going to be easy, that you were going to just tell me, because it's like, get to know Carol Rountree for the listeners. And we're getting to know the food pantry as well. Hopefully it's sharing with the listeners who you are as you share the story. They don't get to see you. This isn't video, but I can tell everybody, you have been smiling the whole time. I'm over here almost laughing, because it's just, that's a great thing. I can tell that you love what you're doing so far. And, that's something that the listeners need to know about Carol Rountree, is you clearly love what you're doing and the people that you're working with. What has surprised you, if anything,
I think what surprised me is that the need has grown so quickly, and that since there is such few staff for a reason, that's why we can help more people with fewer staff and more volunteers. There some organizational systems have gone not by the wayside, but there need to be some in place that wasn't needed maybe 5 years ago, and now is. So and that's one reason what I love to do is help them put those systems in place to just tighten up communications and policies. This place is run very, very well. Yeah. I'm blown away by how amazing this group is. We just need to get some systems in place to make it a little easier. So we're working smarter and not harder.
I was almost hesitant to ask about any changes. And so that's a very subtle thing that you've picked up on that could use maybe some change and some improvement in the organizational part of it. Not because of something that somebody didn't do in the past, but because of the changing way. I was kind of surprised. Speaking of, I said, what surprised you? And it's like the growing need, and it's like, well, it's a growing need that, I feel like from what I've seen from the food pantry and the messaging over the last couple of years, because I try to report, I get the reports from the food pantry, here are our needs for this week regularly, and one of the messages is always, we're continuing to serve more, there's a growing need. So I'm almost like, why is that a surprise? And I don't want to put you on the spot with that, but it's like, that's a surprise to me.
Before the shutdown, they were serving about 200 families a month, and now we're serving 600 families a month.
Yeah, that's a huge growth.
Right.
Yeah,
and it means more volunteers and things like that. Yeah. So when you have that much growth and you have that many more people helping, we need to put a better volunteer management system into place.
Well, aside from that number that you just cited, the 200 to 600, in the 5 weeks that you've been here, how has it revealed itself in terms of the growing need? Are you seeing it walk through the door in terms of more people, or what are you seeing or feeling that says that to you?
It's when we when it's closing time and we still have 2 clients left to shop because there was that many people that came in that day.
Yeah.
And just looking at the historic numbers, I haven't quite been here long enough to see it personally.
Right. That's why I said, and again, I told you before we started talking, live here, I wasn't going to really with those kind of questions or ask you, but because it's only been 5 weeks, you're still settling in. So there's obviously a lot for you to still see. But the busyness is what is revealing itself. Like you said, if at the end of the day, you still got 2 more clients and we're trying to lock the doors and so but we're going to get them. You don't do that. You don't say, "Hey, sorry, we didn't get to you today."
As long as someone walks in the door before our true closing hours, if they are in our waiting room, we will still serve them until they're all served. Nobody gets booted out because
once they're in,
out of
they
time.
get to finish the visit, so to speak. Yeah. So I have not been through that whole process, really in the years of sharing the food pantry story. So it's still somewhere that's still eye-opening to me. And this growing need is just like unbelievable, eye-opening. So what's been, like the hardest thing for you in these first 5 weeks? And again, we know it's 5 weeks, but I mean, what would you say has been
Well, you're going to laugh. The computer in the office is a Mac, and I'm used to a PC. That has been one of my hardest challenges, to remember how to use a Mac.
Oh, I love that. So, don't put a Mac down in front of me. I'm like you. I'm a PC. That would be the number one
and
challenge.
just learning all the systems in place. The Wi-Fi. Who's our lease guy? Learning all of those things, which I have to know. But
very good. So, subtle change, seeing what's needed and those kinds of changes. Do you have some things that you're looking at down the road that you feel like we got to change the way we're doing this, or just something that you're already seeing? Or?
A change is probably a strong word. It's more firm up the processes and make sure internal communication is easier to access because we are a volunteer-run organization. So that is a change. And so just mostly processes and making sure everyone is doing things consistently. I don't have any major changes.
I was going to say change. I'm glad you said that because change can be kind of a scary word,
right?
And sound. And I was like, I think maybe just adaptation. It's probably about how are you adapting to the things that are happening?
Yes. So the big thing will be putting systems into place that are a little bit more modern, like a volunteer management software with an app to appeal to younger people. Yeah. So that's a change, but it's a system change, not a how we roll, how we work change.
So let's get back to a little bit of just some more about Carol Rountree.
Okay.
Fun stuff.
Okay.
Like getting to know Carol. So what, obviously, besides Mojan, what do you like to, what are the things that you like to do when you're not,
not working?
Buried in the office here talking to Chuck,
Well, one of my favorite things to do on the weekend in good weather is go to the nature center and go on a hike.
Oh, wow.
Is probably one of my favorite things to do on the weekend. And my husband and I recently joined O'Bannon Golf Course and have really enjoyed that. I don't really play golf, but
I was going to be a question, so you play.
I'm trying to learn, but I'll follow him around with my chipping wedge and putter, kind of play with him.
But you know what that stuff?
But I know.
Chipping wedge and
Well, our youngest daughter played D3 golf, so she was on Loveland varsity golf team for 4 years. So I know my way around a golf course. I'm just not very good at playing. So we've enjoyed that a lot. And
that's good.
Good travel.
So what's maybe some favorite places you've been traveling or that you like to go back to?
We just went to Peru in September and got to see Machu Picchu.
Oh, neat.
We went to Italy a year and a half ago.
Yeah. Now, so you struck a chord there. My wife and I went to Italy last October. Not just 2020, but 2024. So what part of Italy? Any particular part, or did you cover all of Italy?
Well, we did some of it on a cruise and some of it on land after the cruise. But so we got to see Florence and Venice and Rome and Cinque Terre, and even got to go to Athens and in Greece on the cruise. So
Very cool. Very cool. Sounds like a nice cruise. We did an Italy tour So started in Venice and then went all the way south through Rome and then Sorrento. And then I was going to ask you, did you guys get to catch the Amalfi Coast?
We did go to the Amalfi Coast, yes.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
It was gorgeous.
Yeah,
We
well,
want to go back.
That sounds like a great trip. And then, so very cool. Now you said, did you say 2 kids?
We have 2 girls.
All right, and both graduated?
Both graduated, both live downtown.
And done with school?
Done with school.
Graduated.
The youngest just finished up her master's for her accounting degree, so they're done with school now.
No, and that was this wasn't, we were talking before, and you said, that the experience she had with Tigers Inc.
Yes.
Here helped her decide between whether do I want to be a teacher?
Do I want to be a math teacher or do I want to go to business? And Tigers Inc. helped her decide she wanted to go into business, and now she's a CPA.
So that's neat. And then, so both kids went through the Loveland schools?
Yes.
Very cool. Very good.
And my older daughter started the Women in Engineering Club in high school.
Now, what is she doing?
She works for P&G.
Okay, yeah, there's that engineering thing. That's why I had to ask. So, women in engineering. What now? So, what's that like? So here for me, because like engineers, I always say, you know what, you guys talk at a level I just shouldn't even be involved in. Do you experience that with your daughter?
Sometimes, yes. I'm married to an engineer by trade.
Oh
too,
no!
So, yeah.
You've had like a lifetime of it.
Yes.
That's amazing. Well, and so you said you're married to an engineer. Again, getting to know Carol. So your husband?
My husband no longer does engineering; he does finance, which was his real passion.
Oh wow!
So,
interesting. Well, that's kind of that's really an interesting twist with the daughter that's now a CPA, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
so
It makes my husband very happy that one daughter is his engineering side and one is his business side. So yes.
That's pretty cool. Well, so you're you're the social services person, the social justice and all that, the sociology side of your college career. But the girls didn't. I'm sure they do things, charitable works and stuff. Yeah.
A lot in high school and college for sure.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's good. So I can't imagine that they wouldn't have picked that up from mom.
Yes, they might have been voluntold a few times to help me with events. And
I like that. Voluntold. Well, Carol, is there anything that you want to share, with the listeners, the Loveland Beacon audience, that I didn't really ask you about, or I didn't give you a chance to talk about? And maybe some of the numbers. I know you were prepared, so if there's some specific food pantry things that you want to share right now, what's coming up and things like that.
Well, just to know that the Loveland community has done such an amazing job for the last 30 plus years of supporting this food pantry, that we're now able to serve clients twice a month if the client chooses to. And that the pantry is good at listening to the clients, because that choice to go twice a month was after a client survey. They would rather come and get 2 smaller grocery trips in a month than 1 larger grocery trip, because they were better able to utilize the food and have the storage in their kitchens to manage a smaller amount of food. And they still get quite a bit of food. So how great the pantry is at being good stewards of our donors' money and meeting the needs of the clients. We even have a shelf of supplies for the clients we serve that are homeless, like living in their cars or things like that, specifically just for them, to help those clients make their lives a little easier. So, and that we love volunteers. We are all volunteer run. We will be having a new volunteer information session at the end of January. It'll be posted on our Facebook page if anybody wants to volunteer, as a way to get people to come and see what the pantry is like and what it might be like to volunteer here before they sign up for a shift.
Well, giving away a little secret, I know that you're actually going to have, I guess, an open house at the end of January as well. So the public can come and see.
The open house is for pantry supporters, yes.
Yeah, okay, all right. Well, so if you're a pantry supporter, I just gave away the goods, you should probably already have information. I know I received information about that, that's why I had it. But it's not just the general public to come.
We don't have the room for everybody.
Right. Yeah, no,
Loveland to come.
Trust me, they can see the photos that have been shared and any videos over the years. Will give them a pretty good idea. You wouldn't want you don't want 1,000 people. Probably don't even want 500 at one time.
I think that would be really tight in here.
It wouldn't make for a very good open house, as it were. Well, that's pretty good. But Anything else like that's coming up real fast that we want, that you want to make sure we share with the community? And
no, just follow our social media to see things we're involved in. We are in chats with DVD Brewing about another fundraiser in March, so that's in the works.
okay.
Then obviously we'll have our empty bowls again in September.
Right.
Obviously it's too far out for signups or anything, but
Right. Well,
yeah,
just a
be on
reminder
the lookout.
that's still coming up, in this 2026.
Right.
Which, we're already January the 14th as you and I sit here and talk. The year got started and moved 2 weeks in a hurry. That's all. I'm just going to leave it at that. So things fly by. It will be September and empty bowls before. Certainly for you, it's going to be before you know it.
Yes, it will be.
Because I'm sure you guys are already heading deep into the planning and everything for that. And then, as you said, you're talking with DVD about setting up a March fundraiser.
Yeah.
And then I know that just the community support with donations, whether it be, the canned goods or what you guys need to fill the shelves, but also dollars and cents donations.
Dollars and cents, yes.
Daily.
It warms my heart when I see the volunteers unload the white bin in the front of the pantry every morning, and they have a cart load or two full because people shoved it in over the weekend or over the night. Yeah,
That's great.
So keep doing it. Keep bringing us stuff in the bin.
Okay.
Keep sending us checks, Loveland, because we are being good stewards of your donation here.
Great. Well, Carol, listen, thank you so much for joining us here on Loveland Beacon Talks and giving us a little insight into not only you, but into what's happening at the Life Food Pantry. And, people were very interested to know when things were transitioning a little bit. There was some people that got worried about, what's going to happen next. So it seems like it's in good hands.
I hope so. I'm going to do my best. I keep telling the volunteers every decision I make will be in the best interest of the pantry as a whole, the clients, and the volunteers.
Outstanding. Well, again, thank you so much for taking
You're very
the time
welcome.
today. And for the listeners, thank you too for listening in. And for now, this is Loveland Beacon Talks.